right, everyone, it is now 7 o'clock, and with that, we will open the meetings. Jackie, can we please start with a roll call?
Amanda Harness, Andre Powell, Steve Byers.
Here.
Ariel Owens. Christopher Boyce.
Here.
Daisy Ramirez.
Present.
Vante Bynum.
Here.
Jenna Zimmerman. Here.
All right, and with that, we will go now to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is public comment. Members of the public who wish to speak to the board shall complete a request card prior to the start of the meeting. This section of the meeting will be reserved for comments from the public. All comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Criticism of individuals is not in order. Jackie, do we have any? All right, awesome. Next item is board correspondence. Do we have any board correspondence?
Sure, I'll start us out. This morning I visited Lincoln Elementary, which was a lot of fun. I talked to a couple of teachers about our Project Lead the Way curriculum, which there's some good enthusiasm behind, which I liked. And then I wanted to give a shout out to Dr. Larson at the DeKalb Sycamore game last, when it was. Was it only a week? I don't know.
It was.
Dr. Larson and her staff were out. Very visible, making sure that our students were well behaved, and it was very apparent that they were out there working hard. So thank you for that.
If I may, I'd like to also add that Dr. Shaw and the middle school was also there, and the SROs.
Nice.
So thank you very much to all of you. Thank you, Steve, for giving them accolades. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and just to give kind of on top of that, I mean, got to go to the high school for a little bit this weekend for the forensics and wrestling, both had regionals. And I will say I am just always astounded by how well Peter, Donna, and them keep everything moving at the high school every weekend. I feel like it's a machine that never sleeps. So
Feels like it sometimes.
want to give them a shout out. And we've got Mr. Zucker here, who's one of the coaches with forensics. So want to thank him for doing great work with the students.
Awesome. Any other updates?
I visited Little John for their literacy night on the 25th, so that was excellent. It was great to read to the kiddos and see all the families.
I was there too, I forgot about that.
Steve also mentioned that he was also there. I also attended a DEI committee, and I also attended the game as well, the DeKalb versus Sycamore game. So there's a lot of great initiatives going on throughout the district. We are excited for everything that happens, and of course, we thank everybody that participates in making the event's a successful event, and also for the students putting in the hard work as well, representing the district as to the highest level, where we are often being obviously not only recognized but also invited to other events, not only within our region but also even outside of our region. So thank you to everyone that participates in making sure that we are doing our due diligence to make those events a successful event. So thank you to everyone. So with that said, we will now move on to student board correspondence.
Okay, so there's a lot been going on since last time I saw you guys. So we had a student speak out in December, I believe, and there'll be more on with that. There has also been many mini board meetings throughout our high school, and we've also met with Garcia Sanchez today and talked about some things that we would like to look forward to. I also got a chance to meet with the lunch people at the high school and get some surveys going on for that. So, and I've also had lots of positive feedback with that. Another thing that we talked about is that the vape detectors at the middle school, we recognized that we're probably going pretty decent, and we're still looking to see if that would be possible to bring to the high school. Yeah, and then I have a presentation for the speak out and how that went. Also with me today, I have one of our mini board members, Leo, who can help me present today.
Thank you for the work that you do in supporting Jenna.
Yes, so today, this speak out was the 11th of December, and this was just inviting students to talk about things that they would like to see at the school, good and bad, any type of comments they would like to know. Okay. So, like I said, this is all the opinions of the students, and I'm here to represent the voice of the students in the best way possible, just to see, like, yeah, to make our school the best it can be. So these are going to be presented with the overall topic, some details of what was said, and then either a helpful solution or a benefit of some type of change based off of these ideas. And once again, these are just the ideas of the students represented as a whole. Okay, so the first thing that was talked about was crop tops. So the idea was just that crop tops are banned and stuff like that, and there's just some little inconsistencies on the enforcement of these dress codes based on gender. So there is some wrestling posters brought up during the speak out that show them in their singlets. Well, those may not be the most flattering or the most school appropriate, I would say, for the school setting, while crop tops that only show midriff are not allowed. So that was what was brought to attention with that. The benefit of change with the dress code was that it would create a more equal opportunity for the expression of the students to make it more a welcoming community. The other thing that was talked about was some like health and sanitary things, specifically with like the menstrual cycle. So there was some students who brought up the idea that the menstrual cycle relief, like pain medicine, was not allowed. I understand that that is a concern or not something that is easily achievable. So that could be more publicly advertised, or that was one of the solutions that we could think of. The other thing that was brought up was that the bathroom breaks, you have to wait 10 minutes before you go to the bathroom in a class, and that during the shortened class periods, that creates only a small window of time to go to the bathroom. So maybe changing that to like 5 minutes could help decrease those amount of students or allow students to relieve themselves in a timely manner. Another thing was that teachers hold bathroom privileges. So they just say you cannot go to the bathroom, which is a little concerning for some students. And we could take a look at how that could be some like precautions or some different ways to allow students to go to the bathroom yet still have control over the situation. And then one other thing was that just some like bathroom soaps and paper towels are not refilled often. The next thing will be grades.
Nobody can be perfect on the first try, and if students get a second chance, they can improve, which better prepares them for the real world. And that's the real problem with not enough retakes. It doesn't allow the students to be prepared enough, and sometimes you can't study the night before because you have sporting events, especially since flex was taken away, and it would just benefit the student body as a whole.
Yeah, so we got some other concerns that were brought up were like an unbalanced grading system, a little more emphasis on the work that's done in class would be appreciated just because of the amount of time it takes and effort. And then something else that was brought up was finals and the ability to take finals if depending on their grades, and then retakes is another thing that was talked about. Continuing with grades.
The students feel like their day-to-day work with assignments isn't represented well and is quickly brought down with one bad test. With the retakes, it could also allow them to get those grades back up.
Overall, in the school system, some concern was brought up that there is a little too much pressure for like good grades and trying to have like perfect test scores instead of worrying about the content that you're learning and just trying to learn for the test. Another thing that was brought up was being overwhelmed with work. Many students tend to give up if there's too much work that gets done, too much work that piles over. And then that is especially apparent when a student is absent. They have to make up work from the day before while also trying to do the work the day that they're there to make it back up. So then if you're gone for a longer period of time, it just takes more and more time depending on your situation. Some helpful changes is that laying emphasis on good grades could help meet standards of like state standards and stuff. Also can help create more hands-on collaboration, could help with the overwhelmed with physical work. And then another thing that was brought up was a justifiable work policy. So if you can justify why you were gone, you can like have either less assignments or an alternative assignment instead of having to do if there was like an unexcused absence. The next thing was events. So one thing that was brought up was the middle schools have less opportunities. So we were thinking we could expand high school clubs to the middle school, or at least reach out to get them excited for high school and stuff. And then something that doesn't happen so often in the high school was the fun events or incentives. So we tend to just focus on lots of the work, and there's less fun events that we could plan. But I think we are trying to implement more of the like fun activities through our student council, but it would be nice to see more of those. 5-star is also going pretty good, but we're trying to get more use of that throughout the school just to make sure all the students are being recognized and all have an equal opportunity to get those points. And then another thing that was brought up was our parking lot and the safety of that. There was just lots of drivers driving around, especially new drivers in the parking lots, that creates these dangerous situations of students walking out to their cars and while other students and others are speeding down the parking lot, and there's lots of traffic. The benefit of this change would create a more positive environment and encourage students to be fun and happy as well, including those fun events, and then it also creates a safe environment to and from school. Accessories.
The problem with not being able to have any bags is that the students aren't able to carry everything they need for class, and they often end up forgetting things, making them late for class, or they have improper materials.
Yeah, so one of the things that were brought up were the fact that clear bags, fanny packs, and hats are not allowed. So just some different things for like the clear bags, like he said, not everyone can carry their stuff. And then fanny packs also help conceal like feminine hygiene products and other like pencils and pencil pouches and stuff. And then hats, a thing that was brought up was the idea that why are hats allowed when other head coverings are allowed that conceal the person's identity, as well as like other things covering your face. Some hopeful changes are allow us a way to transport materials, either like a clear small bag or something like that, or have hats allowed or nothing else that like conceals your identity, if that makes sense. And that's all. Does anybody have any question, comments, concerns? Okay. Thank you for letting us speak to you from the DHS mini board. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks again for all the work that you all are doing. We really appreciate it. We know that this is, a lot of the times you all take this on top of everything else that you all have going on. So thank you again to you, Jenna, for leading it, and then to your meeting board for participating, and to all the students that actively participate and giving us feedback as well. So thanks for that. All right, the next thing is going to be the consent agenda. This is an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda, items B through E as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
All right, thank you. All right, next item, which is the non-business consent agenda. Item A, the superintendent contract renewal. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the contract renewal as attached. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
No.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
All right. The next up is the presentations. the presentations for food service program that is going to be presented by Ms. Denise Yamarusco. I apologize if I mispronounced your name, Yamarusco. We're ready when you are.
Annually, our food service provider, Aramark, has a status update for what's going on at our district's food service program. So I'm going to introduce Denise Jamarusco. She is our director for Aramark for the district, and Jared Hexton. So I'll have them go with the presentation.
Thank you. All right, so like I said, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Denise Jamarusco. I'm the food service director for Aramark. I wanted to just take this opportunity to follow up with the presentation previously done by Jenna, and the things that she pointed out going forward for that. And then also just, it's kind of mid-year, so I thought I'd give you a little wrap up of what food service has been doing so far this year. So Jenna did a great presentation last time. We had a couple of things that she pointed out that we've been working on. One was our snack bar. We have been opening the snack bar since the beginning of the year, so for all of the a la carte items at the high school. And we were letting the students come in, get their lunch through the cafeteria, and then opening the snack bar. Jenna pointed out that some of the students wanted the snack bar open from the get-go, so we had an employee go out there, and from then on, the snack bar's been open, and we touched base with Jenna, and she said everything's going pretty great so far. Students are happy about that. And then the serving area. So she wanted more, I say you, but it's all the students, sorry. More like cultural options. So if you haven't been in the serving area in the high school, we have our staple items, the pizza, nacho taco line, the deli line, we have our burgers, chicken patties, all the things, the staples we have every day, but we also have a rotation line where we like to put new things every day. So we've been taking some of the Aramark chef-inspired items and been putting those on there. I'm not sure if anyone partaked in those, but some of the examples where we've done a chicken strip tostada, we've done beef gyros, we did just recently chicken dumplings. We also like to do some of our build your own bars there. So we recently had a baked potato bar or a build your own burrito bar, kind of like their own little Chipotle with all the toppings. And we've done those so far. Those have been a huge hit. And we have some more Aramark chef inspired things to come, like a Thai chicken noodle bowl. We have spicy chicken mole tacos. So we invite you all to come have lunch if you want. And then lastly, we were asked about food safety. So for those of you who don't know, as a district, we get 2 health department checks every year. We've already had our first round at every location, passed with flying colors. So we're really proud of that. We also, between last year and this year, beginning of this year, had 2 Stereotech audits. So their outside company comes in, does a little bit more intense than what the health department does, and those turned out wonderful as well. But we do, Aramark and the district staff that works in our kitchens, we work hard every day to make sure that safety, food safety, personal hygiene, all that is at our top priority. We did meet with Jenna after the last board meeting to touch base on those things, and we hope to continue that meeting with the mini board to follow up on any other concerns they have. Starting this year, like I said, the snack bar has been open. Breakfast options, we've switched up a little bit to get more participation for breakfast, especially in our middle schools and high school. At the high school level, we have fruit parfaits and smoothies and more hot items. We just recently started doing hot items that we serve. So I think the most recent one was scrambled eggs and toast. We're gonna be doing biscuits and gravy, breakfast casseroles, all sorts of fun stuff a couple times a week just to get the kids something good in their stomach in the morning. At the middle schools, we're making sure to get 1 cold item, 1 hot item every morning. Working around the placements of our breakfast carts just to get the most access to most of the students. And then lunch options, we've done a lot at the high school this year for sure. Recently dedicated one of our cold coolers to all vegetarian options for the high school. So we have wraps, salads, sandwiches, bento boxes, It seems to be a big hit so far, so that's great. And then we do have vegan chicken nuggets that we've done as a hot item, so we're dabbling in that kind of stuff. It seems to be a big hit so far. As far as the middle school, last year we did do a survey at one of the middle schools, so we've implemented the flavor stations at both middle schools. So for those of you who don't know, regulations are kind of tight. We can't just sit there and add salt and everything. So our flavor station is something that helps the kids add a little bit to their food. So typical things on there are Parmesan cheese, red pepper flakes, Italian seasoning. We like to do, well, the kids like, I should say, the spicy ranch, spicy mayo, anything spicy, they love. Because we have those up there. At the elementary level, been kind of excited about it this year. I like to go around and sneak at other districts' menus for ideas. My own kids, I have one in preschool, one in elementary, one in middle, and every day I'll ask them, what'd you have for lunch today? And it's always pizza on Fridays, nuggets on Wednesdays. So I would like to think that we do a little bit more than, obviously, we're gonna do chicken nuggets, we're gonna do Bosco sticks because they're my favorite, and things like that. But we've added some fun things for the kids, such as chicken tacos, the emoji waffles when we do breakfast for lunch. We've done orange chicken, that was huge. They thought we were serving them, did you hear about that? They thought we were serving them, some Panda Express that day, and I will take it. And meatball subs was the most recent one. So whenever we do that, we like to mix some things into those staple items. And I reach out to my employees, get the feedback from their schools, and the stuff that works, we keep going. The stuff that doesn't, sorry meatloaf, didn't really work. But we always wanna make sure the kids have a variety, they're trying new things, they get excited about stuff. And for me, when the staff gets excited about it too, that to me is a win. So those are the new things here. So I know everyone thinks of food service, they think of breakfast and lunch, but we want everyone to know that student knowledge and involvement is also on our radar. With the help of Principal Schumann at Brooks Elementary School, he allowed me to take over his PE classes for a day. Kudos to all you teachers, because I could never do it. But we had so much fun. We talked about healthy choices, healthy habits, what that looks like outside of school and how you can bring it into school. We let the kids put their chef's hats on and taste some vegetables that they see at least weekly on the fruit and veggie bar. It was so much fun. And the message we left with them was basically just try new things. What's the worst that can happen? You don't like it, but now you know because you tried it. So doing that, I would love for each school to have an opportunity, maybe not the whole school. This was an entire day. We did every grade level. I am talking with another teacher at Brooks at the moment to do something more downscaled for just a classroom, but I would love for all the schools to be able to have that opportunity. They left with little worksheets that they could bring home to their family to hopefully continue that conversation at home. So that was a lot of fun. And then at the high school level, continuing with we're just more than breakfast and lunch. I know we've worked with Dr. Larson recently on a hot cocoa pop-up for incentives. We've done decorate your own donut. Ice cream, I think it was ice cream Sundays, and we've done all sorts of stuff, and it's just a lot of fun. It gives us a chance to help the school with their rewards and incentives for kids, whether it be academically or attendance. Just whatever the staff wants to achieve, we love to do little things and help. And at the hot cocoa bar, I don't know if it was Dr. Larson I told, but it was so cute to see like 15 through 18-year-olds get excited over hot chocolate, like, and actually be kids, you know, it was really fun. And lastly, I could not do this job without the students. So, like we talked to Jenna, student input is so important. We are working with the Aramark marketing team on some pulse surveys, which should roll out, I'd say, within the next week or so. And what it is, it's a quick survey. Students can use a QR code. They drop down for what school they're in. We get to choose the questions. I worked with the student board a little bit for this first survey on what questions we want to focus on, how often we want to do it. We don't want to overload any kids with surveys, but It's super quick. We get instant feedback, which allows us to have instant changes or modifications or additions to our program. So I really look forward to being able to do that with them. We also had another survey recently go out, the principal survey, because yes, students are important, but the principals also get that viewpoint of not only the students, but their staff and themselves, and they kind of oversee everything. So any input we can get to improve the program, we are open for. And I look forward to continuing that with everybody. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope to come back and update everybody on everything that's continuing now.
Ask
Yes.
a question?
Yes.
I know, I appreciate that Jenna and the high school team have actually done a lot of work and have advocated for themselves. Last year, the middle school schoolers also advocated for themselves.
Yes.
But I'm hearing a lot more changes happening at the high school. I wanna make sure that all of my children, at the
Yes.
elementary and the middle school, have options as well, and that they're healthy and something that they're excited about eating. I'm wondering, what is your cadence of quality control by checking in at the schools while they're having lunch to see children's reaction to the food? And
Yes.
what is being eaten and not eaten so that you can make adjustments?
Absolutely. So we also are gonna have a survey go out, a student survey. For elementary, it'll be more to take home to the parents. But for actually in the lunchroom, between myself and my supervisor and Mike Chamness, we're bouncing in and out of schools, especially on those days where we have a new item. I always like to touch base with my employees, make it super visible, having meetings with my employees, say, what do they like? What are they asking for? I usually like to pop into a breakfast cart and say, what's your favorite breakfast? What do you want? Because, they'll come up and say, oh, this again. What's your favorite? What do you want? So
So you check in with children?
yes, for me, it's all about just talking to the kids, my employees. We have a good handful of great employees who really care about the kids in their school, so I really trust their listening, and I tell them all the time, we can make modifications to menus at any time, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you again.
Thanks.
All right, old business. This is an action item, and it's item A. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state travel request for 6 educators and 3 administrators to attend the ATDLE conference. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Steve Byers.
Yes.
Thank you. Item B, District 428 AI guidance. This is also an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the District 428 AI guidance and establish a $30,000 budget to explore AI integrations to enhance teaching and learning for the 2024-2025 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
All right, item C. It's the staffing request, 1.0 FTE increase for home school liaison at DeKalb High School. This is also an action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve this FTE request for an additional 1.0 increase of an HSL staff at DHS. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Awesome. Item D, staffing request 1.0 FTE increase for ESL teacher at DeKalb High School. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve this FTE request for an additional 1.0 increase as ESL teacher at the DeKalb High School. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes. All right, future elementary school business. Item A, staffing request, 2024-2025 FTE request for principal of new elementary school.
School business?
This is an information item.
We're a team. In the building.
submitted by Beatrice Alice and Julie and Kyle.
Oh, all right, thank
And
you.
Armir.
So it looks like I'm taking a show on the road. Good evening, everyone. So in the development of the new building, we obviously need a principal and an assistant principal. Right now, around March is when we find our good candidates for principals and assistant principals. We don't wanna wait too long to start hiring assistant principals and principals of this building. They are really gonna be the driving force of the staff that we're gonna have at the building. So we'd like to request having them begin in August, because in August, what's gonna happen is we're gonna have to make internal shifts. So what I mean by internal shifts is we're gonna open up to our internal staff who would like to come to the new school. So the principal and AP are gonna have to conduct all these interviews. Once they figure out their staffing from internal, then they're gonna have to do external interviews and interview them and get the new building going. I talked to elementary leadership today, and Brand is by them. They would really appreciate if we knew who the staff at the new building was gonna be tentatively by no later than December, because they have to start, if somebody moves internally, they have to start hiring for the year after at their buildings as well. So that's why we're coming to you, hoping that we can hire our principal and assistant principal. I know I kind of lumped them together, because they are a team. They will be the instructional leaders of the new building. I will be there to help them, support them throughout the whole process. And they won't just be focusing on the new building, but also probably within a elementary building to make sure that they're learning the way of D4-2A. And even if it's an internal that's already been here, let's say it's an assistant principal that moves up to a principal, being an assistant principal is very different than being a principal. So this would allow us to coach that incoming principal as well. And you never know, you have some FMLAs or leave of absences of principals that have medical things or whatever might happen, like we did this year. And it was pretty tough trying to fill that position between TNL, Student Support Services, Dr. Larson, her staff helped, Lincoln helped at that specific building. And this would just make it a lot easier for us to handle a situation like that as well. So, any questions?
Questions on the board? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
All right, and that second item, although you lumped them together.
Yeah. So the second one's for the assistant principal. Obviously, they come together as a package. It would be ideal for them to start together and already start building that relationship and the mission and vision that goes along with our district strategic plan of how this new building is gonna kick off. So that's the assistant principal.
Consensus to bring that back?
Yes.
All right, no
One,
questions?
I guess,
Okay.
quick question.
Yeah.
Would the assistant principal be hired at the same time, like consecutively with the principal, or would we hire a principal, then they would find their AP?
Yeah, great question. So first, we would hire the principal. We would want the new principal to be part of the assistant principal interviews. So, they're gonna be working with them closely every single day. So we wanna make sure that they are part of that process.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Consensus to,
Yeah,
first,
right.
any other questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
All right,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. All right, bid results, New Elementary School.
Good evening. I am excited to bring the bid results for our new elementary in front of the board today. I do have Chad Alexander from Lamp Incorporated, our construction management firm, as well as Scott Johnson, the district architect here, should there be any specific questions for them. But basically, we did open the bids back at the middle and end of January. We had 23 trade packages that were open for the construction portion of the bids. And I am happy to report that all of the bids, when they were totaled up, did come in under budget. Originally, our budget for all of those trade packages, including the alternates, which I'll go over, were just over $28 million. And the bids are currently in at $27,193,000 and some change. I do wanna touch on the alternates and what I'm recommending there. There were a total of 8 alternates that we discussed bidding out, and we bid out with these packages. That included, I'll go through them, the outdoor classroom that was discussed, replacing the north parking lot, adding, and installing card access on all interior doors, re-roofing the existing building, precast integral color and acid washing, ADA door operators, anti-graffiti coating on existing and new brick, as well as anti-graffiti coating on exterior precast wall panels. Based on where the bids did come in for each of these alternates, I am recommending that we move forward with alternates 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That is recommending that we do at this time reject alternate number 1, which is the outdoor classroom, which came in over budget, as well as alternate 3 for the card access readers on all interior doors. So with that, that's what does bring the total bid packages to the $27,193,911.
So,
Including these? Okay.
so if we did add alternate 1 and 3 back in, since we were under budget originally, how much over budget or close to the budget would putting those back in put us?
Do you want to,
The value of those two combined is
I'm
seven
gonna
hundred.
have you step up just for the
Oh.
microphone, please.
Alternate one, the value came in at $407,548. The budget for that item was $475. And then alternate 3 was the card access, that came in at $333,533, and that budget was $200,000. So those combined are roughly $740,000.
And originally we had it at 675.
Correct.
So if we put those back in, would we then be back at our original budget, or would we be?
We would still be under by about 250,000.
So I understand on the outdoor classroom probably why we're holding off on that one. Why are we choosing not to go with the card readers inside?
Being that did come in over budget, and that was just one of those, we actually, as a committee, when we discussed it as a group, thought it would be something we wanted to get priced out, but we weren't confident we wanted to move forward with that dollar amount. That isn't something that we have in our other district buildings, and obviously what we're doing here would be something we'd want to consider trying to implement throughout the district. That would be extremely challenging in our district our size to have card access, card sites on every classroom and office door through our entire
So
district
it would be
in time.
every single room, like it wouldn't just be like the,
Except for like
Scan and
custodial
it's-
closets and
Okay.
mechanical rooms, it would have been, that was 80 additional openings being classroom doors and offices.
okay.
So, and that also gives us some flexibility, because as you can expect, construction does have some things that are unexpected that do come up. We are still getting some final budget numbers, and even those won't be solidified in regards to playground furniture and fixtures and equipment, technology, cameras. Some of those are still budget right now in that 1.6 million that are listed under owner costs. So we do want to be cautious so that we make sure we keep the total cost of this project under the 33,850,000, which is what we committed to.
Alright, thank you.
And I don't know if this is a question you can even answer right now, but how much of this money is staying here in DeKalb County or even in DeKalb?
For the trade contractors,
For the whole thing, yeah. Probably not something you have in front of you, but.
we did list, I'll just mention that on the list that was attached, where each of the trades was broken out of which contractor was awarded, we did list the city and state that those were awarded to, where those contractors were located. And at a glance, we have one contractor that is specific to DeKalb.
And I know that the HVAC contractor is subcontracting with DeKalb Mechanical, who's gonna be doing the ductwork for them, because they're primarily a piping contractor, so they're gonna be subcontracting the ductwork portion. I actually found out that this morning via email, because I saw they're gonna be in a meeting with us here in a couple days. The tough part is just the size of these contracts are fairly large.
Right.
And when they've gotta provide performance bonds, sometimes that can take up a lot of, big chunk of their work, whereas they wanna spread it out across multiple projects, so that's where it becomes tough for smaller contractors.
Any other questions? Thank you, thank you.
And this is for approval tonight.
Oh, it's for approval, okay. Okay. I don't know why I thought it was information, all right. Thank you, all right. Let me look at the recommendation then. Okay, so it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the trade contractor bids, including alternates number 2, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 8 for the new elementary school in the total amount of $26,368,183. And also to reject alternate number 1 and alternate number 3 for the new elementary school. Also approve the asbestos abatement bid for the new elementary school in the amount of $35,000 to EHC Industries Incorporated of Wakanda, Illinois. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, next item under new business is the Dream Deferred Conference 2024 is an information action item. And although it was submitted by Ms. Parker, she is a little bit under the weather and she's unable to speak right now. So Ms. Deetra Salas will be taking over and presenting her information.
Any questions I can't answer, she'll whisper in my ear and I can help you with. So this is a request for out-of-state travel for up to 12 district employees to travel to New York for the Dream Deferred Conference. This is a conference that is hosted by the College Board, and it supports many of the strategic initiatives of the Social Justice Committee. So it'll be a variety of people that will be traveling and taking advantage of the opportunities that the conference has to offer. You can see in the request that it has information about the goals and more details about the conference, but the request is about the out-of-state travel.
And this is also coming in out of Title II grant
Yes, it is.
budget.
Yes, grant funded.
All right. And due to timing, I'm assuming it is.
Absolutely, yes, thank you for saying that. The request is coming for information and action because every day airplane flight costs are increasing. We also need to block the hotel rooms. There's a block set aside for the conference, but it's filling up very quickly. So we need to get that booked and paid for, in addition to registration. But also, the awesome part is that we have folks from our district that will be presenting at this event, at this conference. So we want to make sure that they have the appropriate accommodations because they will be representing the district very well.
Where is the conference?
New York City.
Okay. Let's see it.
Any questions? No? All right. So again, this is an information action item, so therefore, we'll move forward. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state travel for up to 12 educators to attend the Dream Deferred 2024 conference on March 25th through the 28th. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
All right,
Thank you, Ms. Parker.
We hope you feel better, Ms. Parker. All right, next item is the DHS Regional Robotics Competition Overnight Trip Request. This is an information item presented by Dr. Larson.
I almost said good morning, long day. Good evening. All right, so we have the opportunity to go and compete our acrobatics team at the DHS Regional Competition. It's the first one. So 19 students from March 13th to March 16th. They will be spending the night in Peoria, Illinois. A really good opportunity for us, and hopefully they make it to the finals. That one.
Awesome. And this is an information item.
Correct.
All right, any questions? Well, congratulations on that. and
Thanks.
Good luck to the students. So we have consensus to get back, right?
Yes.
Okay,
I
thank
have the
you.
next one, so that's why I was standing up here.
Okay. Oh, the next one is also
Yep.
yours. Okay, I was like
Too.
confused. Okay, thank
No,
you.
it's okay.
Item C, DHS Barcast student overnight travel expense. Travel request. This is an information action item as well.
Yep, so this one is information action tonight. based off of the timeline. So we were approached by the IHSA, and our Barbcast students for our video production class as well as our graphics class was invited to go to the IHSA tournament for wrestling, which is in a couple of weeks, to go and record every session and create the actual hype video before the opening ceremony. So it was a huge opportunity and an invitation for our Barbcast students to be a part of. So the hype videos that you see before all of our sports events, those are all done by students. So our students make all of the hype videos, and IHSA contacted us and invited our students to attend to make that before the opening ceremony. So quite exciting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Any questions?
So I will get to read
All right. This is an action item. So it is recommended that the DeKalb Board of Education approve the request for the overnight travel of Barbcast students that may attend the IHSA Wrestling State Tournament February 14th through the 16th, 2024. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers.
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez.
Yes.
Samantha Bynum.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Then we are moving to item C, which is Village on Elevate 2024 Conference. This is an information item brought to us by Ms. Deidre Salas.
So, for this school year, leading into the start of the school year, Jackie and I traveled to Florida for the Diligent Conference, which was called Modern Governance. Diligent is the company that owns the software that we use for the board meeting, Board Docs. So we had not been using Board Docs to its full capabilities and really kind of piecemealing it. After going to the conference this year, we have really maximized what we are able to do in the software. Jackie can take her minutes during the meeting, so she doesn't have to go back and listen to the board meeting and recreate the minutes from that process. But also we have our policies built into the board docs itself, so we don't have to upload documents and make sure that we have the most recent, the most current PDFs available on our website. So we really created a lot of efficiency by traveling and going to the conference. Many of the people at the conference shared, you have to come every year because every year there's more stuff that you learn and how to support governance for your boards. So we are requesting to travel to the conference again, in 2024, which will be held in Houston. So we are asking for permission to travel out of state. It will be for Jackie and myself. Jackie, as you know, is your board clerk, and I back her up and support her in her absence or even while she's here, in taking roll call and things of that nature. I will add, I'm very excited that we did upgrade to that. In a previous district I worked in, we used board docs very differently than we were here in DeKalb. And now the agenda items that you see, they are actually entered by each director. So we go in and we enter the information, and then it has a routing system built in. So if it's an FTE request, it gets routed to me. Let's say Billy submits it, it routes to me. Oh no, it doesn't, it routes to Amir first, so he can cost it out and put that information in, then it routes to me, so then I can look at the staffing request portion. So it's really a team effort, and it has really created a lot of efficiency for all of us.
That's good.
Any questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Next item is the DCTA program course approved salary schedule credit PRC minutes. It's an information item.
So we come to you throughout the school year as we meet with the PRC, Professional Relations Committee for DCTA, where individuals submit requests to complete programs or coursework to maximize their teaching skills and abilities, but also to get license and Pels and certification to do things above and beyond what they may be currently licensed to do by ISB. So attached are the minutes from that meeting, and that is coursework that staff members have by the committee been approved to pursue so that they can move on the salary scale.
Any questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. You're still up there.
I'm still
Okay.
here.
Item F, University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras recruitment event. This is an information action item. Brought to us by Ms. Teacher Savis.
So this is very exciting. AJ Crook, our multilingual coordinator, received an invitation from the University of San Juan for a recruitment opportunity for bilingual candidates. About 2017, I traveled to Puerto Rico with a different district I worked in to do recruitment, and we were successful at that time, and we were able to bring 6 individuals back from Puerto Rico to work in that district for the upcoming school year. So this is a recruitment fair that is organized by the university. It's not just education, but it includes other areas. But we're hopeful that we will be able to recruit not only teachers, but maybe student services professionals or related services, speech and language therapists, psychologists, social workers, so we can really increase our ability to meet needs that don't just speak English, or their parents may not speak English, so that we can provide a better level of service to our students and our families. We are requesting permission to travel out of state for this. It will be 3 individuals, myself, AJ Crook, and Catherine Russell, who is a student services coordinator. So we wanted to have a broad cross representation to be able to explain what our needs are here in DeKalb. It is information in action for the same reasons as the previous request, the cost of airfare, reserving the hotel, but most of all, we need to register for the conference, and it was non-refundable. So we called and we begged to hold our spot until we were able to get board approval.
This is also coming out of the
Yes.
teacher vacancy grant.
Yes,
as well.
it is grant funded, thank you.
Any questions? No? All right, and then, like I said, this is an information action item. Therefore, it is recommended that the Board of Education approve the out-of-state travel for recruitment at the University of San Juan Rio Piedras. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Ariel Owens,
Yes.
Steve Lee,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Steve Byers.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item G, staffing request 1.0 FTE recruitment and retention manager. This is an information item.
So, in our teacher vacancy grant, we had the opportunity to write in a lot of different things. Basically, things that would be strategic for us in trying to achieve some of our recruitment goals. Part of that is the position of recruitment and retention manager. Currently, we have a talent acquisition manager, and she has a broad job responsibility. So she does do the recruitment, but in addition to that, does the posting of jobs, manages our EvaluWise evaluation system, manages other things as related to our staff members. So we want the opportunity to hire this recruitment and retention manager to focus on our recruitment goals, to travel more for recruitment opportunities, but also to hear the voice of our staff, to hear what we need to do to keep people in our district. So this is also grant funded from the teacher vacancy grant. The teacher vacancy grant has been approved for 3 years, this year and 2 additional years. So this would be a grant funded position for that period of time. And if we were able to determine that we had a strong ROI or return on investment, or saw the success in this position, we may come back and talk about that after the 3 years have expired. But at this time, we're asking for the 3 years to hire this position.
Out of the grant.
Out of the grant.
Okay, and this is an information item. Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Or questions, I apologize, questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yep.
Yes, nope, and yes, please. Thank you, all right. Okay, the next one is the letter of agreement, Tulsa summer hours. This is an information item, item H.
Hi again, so Sarah and I are here requesting, we come to the board every year requesting additional hours for our TOSAs, our instructional coaches, our multilingual instructional coaches, and our health support leaders. They are a key and crucial part of our curriculum writing and leading the curriculums and the initiatives that we roll out every year. So we came to an agreement with DCTA on this letter of agreement for our TOSAs. And this is it's for 20 days of additional, 20 additional days per TOSA, which amounts to 6 hours a day. But you see the salary there, it's the maximum. So that's if every single person used their 20 days. We haven't got to that point, but we wanted to be transparent and show everything up there in case we were to. If we were going to request additional hours, we'd come back to the board and ask prior to approving those. But also if there was a situation where say Sarah's a TOSA and I'm a TOSA, I don't wanna work at all during the summer just because I got something going on with my family and she can work additional past the 20 hours. Those would get approved by Sarah, myself, and the managers prior to giving the okay to do that, so.
Then we wouldn't need the additional hours
Right.
because they're built in that maximum total.
Yeah.
Good job.
Any questions?
Any questions for Sarah?
Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is the lease purchase agreement transition program.
Okay, at the October 3rd board meeting, the board approved the district to acquire a off-site location for our transition program, which is currently housed at the high school. So we searched many properties and we found one at 530 Charter Street in DeKalb. This is 6th Street and Charter, a little bit across the Huntley Middle School area, more east to it. So our plan is to acquire this via a lease to purchase agreement at the amount of $513. It is structured in a way to give us that flexibility to renovate the building and have an anticipation opening date at spring of 2025 school year. So we're presenting the lease agreement as information today, and the approval is for the February 20th meeting. A little bit about the term is that the rental is $38.50 per month, with the option to purchase it on the 25th month. This will be receiving some credits, such as a quarter of the rent payments and the security deposit. And the next steps is to obtain approval from the city for the zoning and permits, and there's also a due diligence period that we're working on, and at that time it will be able to finalize and be able to use the property. So the total project cost will not exceed the 1.5 million, which was authorized at that October 3rd meeting. Again, this will be coming as an approval at the February 20th board meeting.
Any questions? No? Okay, consensus, obviously, to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Jay, staffing request, Facility Operations Department, summer staffing. This is an information item brought to us for, I don't know who's coming, Deidre. Okay, and Tammy.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
There you go. Ms. Deidre Salas and Ms. Tammy Carson.
What we're bringing forth tonight is a request to have 2 temporary summer staff added to our facility operations team. In past years, we used to hire 8 to 20, even new high school opening, we hired up to 30 summer staff. But over the years, we've been able to add permanent union members to our team as the needs of the district have increased, so we haven't had to hire. We do have a special project at the high school. We opened the high school in 2011. The chairs that were purchased in 2011 are still the chairs that are at the high school, and the glides are breaking off and causing damage to our floors. And so we did some testing over spring break to see how long it takes to replace a whole classroom of chairs. And when we multiplied it out, we determined we were gonna need some additional help to be able to accomplish this over the summer. The glides have already been purchased. We're asking for approval to hire 2 individuals for up to the 10 weeks of the summer staffing, summer timeline. The cost is anticipated to be $11,200 or less.
Any questions?
Do you think these will be students that'll help replace the glides or non-student employees?
We haven't determined that at this point. It will depend on availability of the individuals that apply and for their schedules. This would be something we'd be looking to do during the typical day hours. Unfortunately, sometimes student schedules don't allow for that, but if we're able to accommodate it with students, we will definitely look at that opportunity.
Any other questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, item K, request to bid, the transition of program construction. This is an item submitted by Ms. Tammy Carson.
What this is, as our mayor mentioned, with the transition program, we're looking to acquire the building at 530 Charter Street. The estimated construction costs of that are the $1,090,000 and $1,090,350 is the estimated construction budget, which includes contingency, architect, and engineering. At this point is the approval, or to bring it back to the next meeting for approval, to go out to bid for this project. So that'll involve at that point the design, which involves our staff and our team members to put together a design for construction, and then keep us on track so that we could potentially open this building as early as January to our students.
Any questions? Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, the next item is item L, DFSS, letter of agreement, shift premium. This is an item brought to us, Ms. Tammy Carson.
My last one of the night. We've been discussing, administration's been discussing with DFSS the opportunity to improve our coverage when it comes to after-school and weekend events. We have excellent staff that work during the shifts that they're scheduled to work, but then as you can expect, especially when we're looking at the activities that go on at our high school and middle schools, it does require them to agree to work additional hours outside of their schedule to be able to cover events that go on after hours. And unfortunately, we've really struggled to find staff that are willing to sign up for those extra hours, and sometimes that goes into all day, all night, Saturdays and Sundays. We don't have proper staffing, we can't keep the building clean and at the level, and bathrooms, serviced and that we need to, as well as get it clean for the next school day, for Monday morning. So we have put together a recommendation with support from DFSS to have a stipend added for those individuals who do sign up. It's a $5 stipend that would be added to their hourly wage for the hours they work outside of the scheduled shift. This does not include covering for if a staff member is absent and they agree to work to cover a normal shift, but this is for event coverage. And the anticipated cost is $10,000 or less in a fiscal year.
Is it a 5 per hour stipend or 5 for the whole shift?
5 per hour, and then if they qualify for overtime, it would be at time and a half.
Seems like that would help.
We hope, we really hope.
Any questions? Additional questions, I should say? No? All right, and this is an information item, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Consensus to bring this back?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, item M, Kids Hope USA Services Agreement. This is an information action item brought to us forth by Mr. Kylers.
All right, good evening. For several years, Kids Hope USA, which is a kind of a national organization, has been partnering with Little John Elementary School to provide some school-based mentorship for students that could use a little bit of that. We want to kind of memorialize that agreement, and that's why we're coming forward to the board today with a service agreement, which kind of sets some parameters around making sure that our partners who are outside of our district have certain things in place when they're coming in to work with students, they're background checked, and there's just some parameters and understanding around what's going to be agreeable per their services and what would be something that we would, as a district, maybe have a problem with or have caution around. Kids Hope USA is a group that connects Christian churches or volunteers to schools or their own community-based mentoring. So for our purposes, we'd be doing the school-based mentoring. There is a strict adherence to separation of church and state, and that's partially why they have 2 separate programs. One is church-based, one is school-based. There's no cost to this, and it has been kind of well-received over the years at Little John. Our hope is to get this going again at Little John, and then also look at the future of the potential of expanding this to other elementary schools. Or they do have a middle school program. It's not something that we've ever utilized, but it could be something we could consider in the future. Any questions?
And this is an information action item, just for the time, just to get it moving.
It is, so we did kind of hit pause on this until we could get this in order to get it going
Okay.
again. So I know Kids Hope is very eager to get back into the schools, and that was kind of our reasoning to do info and action.
Awesome. Any questions? All right. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the service agreement with Kids Hope USA for school-based mentoring. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Christopher Boys,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, the next item is item N, staffing request 1.0 FTE special education teacher at Brooks Elementary School. Brought to us forth by Mr. Kyle Gertis.
Dr. Henry at Brooks Elementary School had reached out and started a discussion around kind of the current workload or number of students at Brooks Elementary School that currently receive special education support, especially on their resource caseload. And when we kind of met with Dr. Henry, we looked at the numbers. For other buildings of comparable size, we did see that the teacher to student ratio was much higher at Brooks Elementary School. So it is an area that we want to address to kind of bring that ratio back down, which will benefit students, but will also benefit the teachers as well. We actually have some funds in the Every Student Succeeds at grant that will cover the cost of this FTE increase. However, that funding lasts for this year. So it would be, we're asking for this FTE or this staff member to hopefully be employed now through May. We will also consider, and this is coming at a future board meeting, what additional staffing we might need for next year. So knowing that this grant funds only cover this year, we do anticipate there's gonna be a need heading into next year as well, and we'll account for that when we look at our FTE requests. In total, with the prorated amount, the cost would be about $41,022.68, which does not it uses about half of what the ESSA funds that Brooks Elementary still has available for this year. So it doesn't deplete their funding as well.
Any questions?
Would we be shifting some of these FTEs then to the new elementary school once it goes online and a lot of that load of students is moved to the new building, or will we be keeping the FTEs there and adding the additional at the new elementary?
I can take a shot at it unless you want
Either
to.
way.
Right. I think that's a little too soon to tell because we would have to look at student numbers. There's students that come from ELDC into elementary, but then there's the 5th graders that head to 6th grade. So it is a little bit of a fluctuation from year to year. What I do anticipate is that we will likely have to look at reallocating our FTE, but there's probably a consideration of adding as well. And that is something I know Billy's worked really closely with HR to kind of map out the best we can at this point in time.
Thank you.
Since new school came up, I just want to say that we are working on a comprehensive plan for the new school, mapping everything out, what that school will look like, what teachers we need, what support staff we need. We've already came with the request for the principal and the assistant principal, and then we'll have a phase-in approach that we'll present to the board on when we would like to start hiring different positions.
And then, just to be clear, a lot of those positions, although that layout is not finalized, have been taken into consideration in the budget, right, Amir? Right.
Yes, they have been.
Thank you.
Yep.
So again, this is an information action item due to obviously the immediate need that we have for that, to support the students. Okay. No more questions? All right. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the addition of a 1.0 FTE special education teacher for Brooks Elementary School for the remainder of the 2023-2024 school year. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boys,
Yes.
Stacy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
All right, next item is item O, school psychologist contract MMC Education Staffing LLC. This is an information action item as well, brought to us by Mr. Kyle Gertis.
So, stop me if you've heard this before, but we continue to have a shortage of school psychologists. We have utilized MMC educational staffing for actually 2 school psychologists this school year. One has kind of started on board recently and one that we hired at the beginning of the school year. Unfortunately, the hire that, the contracted service that we had with the individual from the beginning of the school year that individual decided to leave the contracting agency, thus severing the contract that we had with that individual. So MMC has been a really good partner with us, and when that happened, they said, hey, we're gonna keep looking and we'll find a replacement for you is our goal. They reached out a couple of weeks ago and said they had a viable candidate that they was interested in DeKalb. We did an interview and we would like to move forward with that service contract for the remainder of this school year. It really replaces the contract that we unfortunately lost earlier in the year. So in total, what we would project for this would be at a rate of $120 an hour, a cost of around $54,000 through the end of this school year.
So again, this is just to be clear, this is reallocating the resources that part of the resources that we already approved in the beginning of the school year to make sure that we are meeting the needs for the school psychologist that is no longer in contract with us under that original contract request.
Exactly, we lost somebody and this is replacing that person. Yep.
Awesome, okay. Any questions? All right, so again, this is an information action item. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the school psychologist contract with MMC Education Staffing LLC. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boyce,
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum,
Yes.
Awesome, thank you. And then the last item on under new business is item P, appointment of FOIA officer. This is an action item.
So currently, Jackie Pringle is the only FOIA officer that we have appointed. But tonight on the personnel report, you approved the hire of our paralegal, Shauna Crines. So with Shauna joining us on the 12th, we are also requesting to add Shauna as a FOIA officer to support Jackie in that work. So that's a request to approve the paralegal to also be a FOIA officer for the district.
Awesome. Any questions? All right. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve Shauna Krentz, is it Krentz? Krentz, as District 428 Freedom of Information Officer. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Steve Byers,
Yes.
Ariel Owens.
Yes.
Christopher Boyce.
Yes.
Daisy Ramirez,
Yes.
Dante Bynum.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And the last thing that we have is the superintendent update.
It's always me, always the good stuff. Yeah.
It's almost there. We're
Almost there. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to the board members for renewing my contract. I'm excited about what this will bring and all the work that we have to do. So thank you to all of you for that. Second, I'm going to ask that Dr. Sharita Shah come up and present her findings and her information regarding the vape detectors that we have over at Huntley. She's been patiently waiting.
It's my bedtime. Okay, so yes, we have the vape detectors at Huntley Middle School. So we pulled a little bit of data about from the hits that we get. And so what happens when it's triggered in the bathrooms, they're in the student bathrooms, we get an email, we meaning administration and security. And so once it is triggered, we are able to go view the cameras and see who was in the bathroom. Usually most times it's one student, sometimes it's two, sometimes it's a student and an imaginary person that they make us go look for that was never there, right? And so we're able to investigate, ask questions of the student to make sure they have due process. So I was laser focused with this. Jackie, I won't be long. I know I told you I had 2 pages going on over here. I'll keep it short. In the 22-23 school year, there were 2 documented office referrals for vape use, drug use. In the 23-24 school year, there were 18 office referrals for vape drug use. This just means that this was on their person. With the vape detectors, we're able to now find out what's happening in the bathroom. So now we know that there was vaping going on. We've always heard it, but no one wants to be the creepy administrator hanging out in the bathroom, so we were never able to find it. So the vape detectors helped us find it. So students are able to be identified in real time. Once there's a notification, admin and security, we check cameras and go and check it out. When the student is identified, there's a conversation between the student and administration, and then parents are also notified of the incident and consequences. Students are able to get consequences in real time. First offense, the students have to use the bathroom that is located next to the security office in which they have access to. There's a call, there's a student there, the door is unlocked by either admin or security. Open the door so the students, they have access to that at all times. The second offense, there's an out-of-school suspension. Because discipline is progressive, we start with 1 day and it goes up to, right now we're up to 3 days for a couple students. Because we don't like fueling the school to prison pipeline, in lieu of out-of-school suspensions, parents have the option to send their students to have them participate in the alternative to suspension referral program. So parents get information for both MENTA and Family Service Agency. MENTA, we're able to provide transportation. The Family Service Agency, we're not able to provide transportation. Both of them offer a 3-day program. Them participating in a 3-day program will take away any 3-day out-of-school suspension off of their record. We have seen a decrease in the number of students with vaping paraphernalia at school. We haven't caught a lot of it because when we go in the bathroom, they're good at hiding it. But our vapes detection have gone down. You will see our highest number here on the screen were from, the first one was a band event, and those were after school, and those were parents vaping in the bathroom. So after a parent letter went out to parents vaping in the bathrooms, some of our after-school activities and weekend activities, those vaping incidents decreased. So parents are vaping too. So definitely we talked about it as an admin team, and we came up with 3 definite reasons why we would want to keep vape detectors in the bathrooms and extend them to the other secondary schools. The health concerns for our middle school students whose bodies are still developing. Compliance and policies. Vape detectors help us to enforce these policies by detecting vape activity and allowing administration to take appropriate disciplinary action. Education and awareness is the third. The presence of vape detectors serve as a deterrent to many of our students at Huntley Middle School. And it allows us to have prompt discussions about the dangers of vaping and substance abuse. It provides an opportunity for educators to educate our students about the risks and consequences of vaping, empowering them to make healthier choices. It offers conversations for also our student support services team as well as our nursing team. Overall, vape detectors in middle school buildings play a crucial role in promoting the health and well-being of students, enforcing school policies, and fostering a safe and supportive learning environment. And I just went over all of that, sorry. So it also is attached in here, the parent letter that I sent out to families, and we got a decrease in vaping on evening and weekend events.
Have you experienced, Dr. Shaw, thank you for the information that you presented. Have you experienced any challenges with, I know that you said that the alert automatically is sent to you all, right? Have you experienced any challenges with the controlling that or determining if it's, let's say, several students going at once, determining, for example, which was the student that actually had the vape pen or anything like that?
Middle school students roll on each other really quickly. Okay, they roll on each other really quickly, so it doesn't take long. One of the challenges that we have, like today was, I don't know what was going on. Today was really busy today, so we were all out in the building, and so coming back to the computer and not seeing the notification and then having to go back and backtrack and see who was where. So that's one of the challenges when we're not able to be at our computers for an extended amount of time because things are happening in the building. So that's one of the challenges. During lunchtime is another challenge because all of security is in the lunchrooms. And so if we're out doing evaluations or meeting in any meetings, it's difficult to, I see it go off, but I can't do anything because I'm in a meeting. So those are some of the challenges. And so in those situations, we can't, it's not real time, it's that day, but not within minutes, if we're able to catch it when it comes up on the screen.
Now, I know some of the, my thingy. Some of the ones that we saw when we were at the board conference in November also had additional features where like they also would ping based on sound. So if they thought that it sounded like a scuffle was going on or something, it could alert to that. Are the detectors we deployed able to do that?
So
Or are
we
they
have-
strictly for vaping?
So we have heard that, we have not experienced that yet. One of the things we have experienced that I know they're testing, so some of the solutions that are being used in mop water can set it off. So so far, I've heard half of them have been tested. There's still some more solutions that need to be tested, so we're not saying our janitorial staff is vaping. So we're making sure we're checking all of that to make sure we know what's going on.
And in regards to the first offense consequence, how exactly are we enforcing that? Like, are we sitting there going, there's James going into the wrong bathroom right now? Or-
So that's in the conversation with the students. They know once you're caught, they know which bathroom that they're able to use. And we haven't had any issue because they don't want another consequence for being where they're not supposed to be.
Middle schoolers are great.
I was just wondering how long it takes to actually respond to the incident once the thing goes off. Because I know at least in the high school level, there's multiple times where security goes in and everyone just runs.
So once it goes off, if myself, admin, or security are right at the computer when it pops up, they go right to the camera. So I would say in less than 5 minutes, we're able to identify who was in the bathroom. Most times it's during class time that they've taken a pass and are in the bathroom. So usually it's only 2 or 3 people. And so we can identify quickly who was in there. And like I said, middle school students roll on each other quickly because they don't want that call home, so.
Thank you for the information. We know that obviously that these initiatives, it's been taking us a little bit, right, to assess and just to make sure that if these things are working, to see how we can actually take them into consideration to implement them across the district. So we appreciate the information that you presented today, and we're grateful that they're working, and we're hopeful that they will continue to work as they should, so that we can continue to add more things across the district that can be useful for all of us, to keep our children safe. So thank you for that.
So I did want to add that I did get a chance to meet, an opportunity to meet today with our student board member and part of the mini board, and this was one of their items atop. And because of that conversation, I introduced our board member to Principal Shaw so that they can have conversations and possibly be able to advocate for these detectors at the high school. More information to come later. I just want to make sure that we're ready to hear the advocacy for that. I'm looking over here and they know why. Now, a couple of other things. I just wanted to congratulate our team that put out for the school maintenance project grant. We were awarded $50,000. So Tammy and Mike Trevelyan and everyone else who was on the team. That funding will go to the project on renovating the restrooms over at Jefferson. Thank you. Okay, and so we're excited about having that extra money. I'm sure the board appreciates that, so thank you for that.
Yes.
And then also, we did get a formal letter that I've shared with the board already, that we are, again, a recipient of the tax relief grant. This year, it's about $6 million, is that correct? And we are excited to also be receiving that funding that will help us with our levy, so appreciate that. And thank you to Amir and everyone who was a part of making sure that that happened for us this year. I think this might be our last year though, right, Amir? Yeah, I think so. Maybe cross our fingers. Anyway, that's it for me. Thank you very much. And you know what's up next, so I'm gonna say goodnight and thank you for coming.
All right, all right, thank you, Dr. Garcia Sanchez. With that, it is now 8:24, and I would like to motion for us to adjourn the meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming, and thank you for everything that you all do.